everybody, welcome to Good Day Farm. Just doing a real quick follow-up video to the one I made yesterday about getting the new snow thrower for us. Unfortunately, it did snow last night, but only a couple of inches. So I mainly tested it. I used it in our driveway and parking area. And then I actually went out in our pasture and cut a path to the barn and out around by the chicken coop. And so that snow is old, frozen, crusty, real powdery. And I thought that was a pretty good test of how well this machine might work. So let's take a look at some of that real quick, and we'll see what you guys think. So right here is just not using the thrower at all. I don't know if that comes out in the camera. We have stepping stones under here, so I didn't want to risk tearing it up once you get out here. And what we have here in this part of Illinois, we get a lot of wind. So even though we can get, like last weekend, we had almost a foot of snow. Well, since it's been windy all week, some areas are 30 inches deep and some you can see the ground. Once it gets real cold and dries it out, it blows pretty well. So our chicken coop, my old ugly coop here, is a wind block. And so the snow likes to pile up right in front of it. You can kind of see. So I cut this path with the thrower this morning. This would have been, it comes almost to the top of my boots. Kind of hard to, I don't know if I can get, I can't get in the camera. But trust me, it's pretty deep. And it's really inconvenient to have to walk through here, especially when it's cold and fresh snow. So I made, I think, 4 passes through here to get it wide and cleared up real good. I've got the legs on the bottom all the way down so that I don't pick up, gouge the grass out here, or, maybe there's a rock or something. So there's still about an inch of snow, obviously, on the ground. It doesn't scrape the ground, but I think it did spectacular. There's some more footage of my beautiful coop. At one point, we had almost 40 chickens in here. Now we're down to about 16. I think that's the number we're going to keep. And you can hear the goats. It's kind of cool. Right here on the door is a wall that goes straight across, and that's a goat stall on the other side. It's an 8x8 stall. There's Daisy, our doe. We're hoping she's pregnant. Anyhow, I'm rambling. Let's get back to the snow. So I cut a really nice path here. And sometimes we have hand shoveled this, sometimes we don't. It's a lot of work, and when you're all done with the driveway and the parking area and getting the cars out, last thing you want to do is come shovel fields. But if you can keep up with it, it makes life a lot easier. I'll show you the path I made out to the horse barn. It's not as deep over there because the wind really blew a lot of it off. But let's take a look. Hold on. So this actually is just our parking area. I don't know how big it is. Pretty good size. It's all blacktop. Right here is actually gravel. And it's where we park the pickup, our horse trailer. They're out of the way of the garage. So kind of hard to tell here, but it did a pretty good job for not having that much snow, and for the fact that the old snow that was already on this was frozen and had just been hand shoveled, so it was never really scraped off that good. And as you can tell, I mean, it went all the way out the driveway. It doesn't look that deep. It's maybe 6 inches, but good, almost as good as a plow would have done. So I'm really impressed with that. I did pick a few rocks up out in the driveway because it's gravel. The blacktop ends about 40-50 feet out there in front of me, and it turns into gravel. So I made some more adjustments. I think we're good with that. It shouldn't pick up any more rocks. And then here's where I just cut. This is not going to show up in the camera probably because it's just all white. But basically I cut a path here straight to the barn. That's where our hay is. Over here is a water trough for the horses that we have to carry buckets of water to. It's I think a 30 or 40 gallon trough. In the summer we can run a hose, but in the winter obviously that freezes up. And there is no water out here at the barn. It's all up at the house. That is a project on my list to do, but unfortunately the water is under the deck, so I have to somehow dig under there. That's where the well is, believe it or not. Bring it out from under there across the blacktop without tearing that all up, and then get it out here. So pretty low on the priority list. For now, we just carry 5-gallon water buckets. But like I said, I don't think it's showing up very well, but trust me, we have a nice, I would say 40-inch wide path here. I went back and forth here about 4 times, made it almost 2 throwers wide, and then I cut a path over here. So now we can come from the house to the barn, oops, sorry about that. Get our hay, walk over. Right there by the trough is where you go into the horse paddock. So anyhow, I'm gonna wrap this up. That's kind of what I wanted to show. Quick here, we'll just look at the machine. It's nothing fancy. It's a pretty base model. It's an MTD yard machine, 26-inch. I think it's a 208cc motor. It does have electric start if you plug it in, but every time I've just pulled the hand crank and it fires up either on the first pull or the second pull. It's got a little primer bulb there. If you do that, it'll fire right up. If you forget it, then it might not. Of course, just metal skids down there to lift the thing. As you can tell, I've got it set pretty high so that it don't get gravel and all that. But inside there, you can see where the actual, I don't know if you can tell how high that is, but the actual part that scrapes the snow is, you know, pretty close to the ground. Any lower and it would pick everything up. I don't remember the tire size on this. I want to say they were 13s or 15s. Pretty decent. Everything I looked at on the reviews and specs, this is a really decent machine. 6-speed forward, 2 reverse. Like I said, it has the electric start if you want it, but it's very basic. Doesn't have any fancy stuff. The chute control is the old style crank. The only thing I don't like is it is plastic, so it's possible that, you know, something could break that, but you know, I'm not real worried about it. Easy to operate, you know, you just pull that lever to drive, pull that one to throw snow. That locks, so you can take your hand off and run it one-handed if you wanted. It will not pop back up till you let off the drive mechanism. Like I said, 6 forward speeds, 2 reverse. I've only used reverse once or twice. It honestly, if you just let off the drive control, you can manually pull it really easy. It's not that heavy on the wheels. If you're out in deep snow, I use the reverse, like when I was over by the chickens. So anyhow, I like it. Let me just clarify, I've never owned one of these before. I've never used one of these before. So there is a learning curve for me, mainly in planning out how you throw your snow. When I cleared this area, I cleared the bottom first in the driveway, and then I came up to clear this, and I was throwing snow right where I just cleared. So, you know, kind of noob mistakes, stuff you got to think about, think ahead, plan your route, so you're not throwing snow right where you were. And I think what I'll do in the future is basically this top part here where my car's parked, this area, I'll probably still shovel by hand. I'll just push it down into here and then use the snow thrower, because it's a little difficult to get close up to the house without risking chucking ice and stuff at the cars and breaking a window or something, and that would really upset me. So this is kind of a mess up here from snow that falls off the roof and everything, and so I don't want to run that through here. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions, like I said, I've never used one of these before. Pretty easy. I haven't had any issues, but if you have any suggestions or tips so that I don't destroy it first week out of the gate, I would love that. I'm always open to hearing people's other advice and tips. Other than that, if you're looking at buying one of these, based off of what I know, like I said, I've never owned one before, I've never used one before, but I'd recommend it. I think it's a good value. 26 inches cuts a pretty good path. If you go down and back, you've got at least a 45-inch wide path, possibly 50 if you were real good with it. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I think it's a good machine so far. Into winter, we'll see. I'll do a follow-up next spring. We'll recap and see how this thing held up all winter. So, all right, everybody have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Again, thanks for watching. Bye now. Okay, so got the snow thrower on Friday. Was able to use it then. Used it Saturday, and then used it again today. We actually got pretty good snowfall last night. This really good path you see cut down my driveway, that's actually from our neighbor that I mentioned earlier that usually comes over after a good snowfall to do my driveway for me with his tractor, and he pulled in and saw that we had already done it, so he didn't need to. Anyhow, so after 3 days of using it, I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Like I said before, I've never used one of these, so learning curve. I've got it adjusted as tall as it'll go because I go on multiple surfaces. From this is blacktop, so if I lowered the adjustment, it would scrape it right down to the blacktop, but then I'd have to readjust it when I go out on the gravel or the pastures. And honestly, now that I've been using this, I'll be using it more for cutting pathways out to the barns and chicken coops and stuff. So I'm going to leave it up high. This is only an inch or so deep here, so it's as good as it would have been if we were hand shoveling. Gives us plenty of traction to be able to pull in and out, get in the garage and stuff. So as for now, 3 days of using it, I still give it thumbs up. Like I said earlier, we'll wait after using it all year, all winter, see how it looks, next winter or next year. We'll see what we think. All right, take care, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon. Bye now.